So what I have done is I have prepared a PPT in one specific style. So first I have given the brief description about the GUI gadget. Say for example, if it is label, so brief description about the label, where you can use, what it does, all that. And then I have given the syntax. So syntax is nothing but the prototype of that function. So what are the parameters it's going to take, and if it has a return type. So mostly many of the predefined functions in Python, they don't have any return type. So they don't return any value, but they accept some parameters. So what are the parameters it's going to take? And then I have given an example program, small example program. So I have shared it, I have copied it onto the desktop. So what is the name of that file? So Python GUI. So you just copy that, or otherwise I'll share the PPT in your group also. So same thing, last two classes I have repeated. So there are several packages that are available with Python or in Python, using which you can develop GUI type of interfaces. So one of the most prominent package which is defaultly available with Python, when you download Python from any open source, so by default the package that would be available is Kinter. So apart from that, there are so many other these things. Kiwi is one, WX Python is another GUI package. Another one is Jython.org. From that also you can download. So many, JPython is one thing, WX Python is one thing. So already we have seen how to create a GUI application. So GUI application, basically you have to download the Kinter package first using import statement, and then you have to create a top level window by using the statement top is equal to tkinter.tk. So where that both t's are capitals, and then if you want to add any widgets to your top window, so you have to write all that code here. So now we don't want to add any widgets here, so we have not added that code. And after that you have to call the main loop. So main loop, what it does is it will invoke or it will continuously display the window that whatever we have created. So that is the purpose of the main loop. So it creates the window, it displays the window on your display screen, and then it waits for the events to happen. Whenever an event occurs, so if you have written the handler for that event, so event handling will take place. Otherwise, so it simply waits. So until you close the window. So this is the general discussion that we had already we have discussed in the last two classes. Now, as I said, so first GUI component. So already we have discussed about labels and buttons. So once again, it's like review of the same topics. So button, so it can generate only one type of event. What is that? Button click event. So now if you see the syntax, the name of the GUI class that is available in Kinter package is button, B capital. So all the predefined classes, it starts with capital letter. So that is the general convention that's followed both in Python as well as Java languages. So whenever we want to create a button, so first you have to use the button class. Then what are the parameters? Now it takes minimum of one parameter. Now what is this one parameter? The one parameter is nothing but, so what is the main window in which you want to create the button, or to which window you want to connect this button to. So that window name, okay. So master, top, or whatever it is. So generally there are different names that you can use to the top level window. Or if you have created some frames also, if you want to connect, you have to use that frame name here. So whatever top level window or frame name you specify, to that frame or to that window, this button will be connected. So then we will give key value pairs as the remaining inputs or remaining parameters. So what is this key value pair? So now key value pair is, so if you want to what we call as give some label or give some name to your button, so you can give. So I'll show it in the example. So if you want to display, say for example, uh, so assume that you have created a button and you want to give some display some label. So whatever text you want to display or whatever label you want to display, that you can specify it as the second parameter. And after that, so you can extend these parameters. Third parameter also can be added. So generally third parameter is the event handling code. So event handling code means whenever this button is clicked, if your application has to perform some action, so in response to that button click event, now what is the response that it has to provide, that also you can write. So that also I'll show it in the example. So now basically, so first one is mandatory. So remaining two parameters, so that's up to us. So if you want to give some name, second one is name. If you want to give, if you want to provide some handling code, that you have to provide as the third parameter. So is it clear? So button is the name of the class. So first parameter is to which window you want to connect or you want to display this button. So that happens to be the first parameter. Second parameter is button name, and the third parameter is the handling code. So three parameters can be associated with the button. So let us see one example which uses this button. So already in your lab, so yesterday you have used, I think, 12, 13 buttons in your calculator program, and then you have written the so once you, so after listening to this class, once again you try to open that calculator application and you try to understand so the purpose of each statement. Maybe after this class you will understand. So first statement is tkinter. So there is one tk message box. It's also part of tkinter. You need not write explicit statement. So as usual, first you have to create the top level window. So for creating the top level window, tkinter.tk is the statement. So we are assigning it to top. After that, now see, I want to provide some handling code in response to the button click event. So whatever code you want to execute in response to an event, so that code you can define it in the function. Now if you see define, so I'm defining a function called hello callback. So what is the code you see? So here it displays, so a message box. See, message box is something like a text box with some 3D effect. So in that message box, so whenever this button is clicked, a new message box will be created, and in show info is a predefined function associated with this message box. So what it displays is hello Python, hello world messages. So it will display two messages. Now you see we have discussed about the button. So now I want to create a new button. So button is part of tkinter package. So tkinter.button. So to which window we want to associate this with. So already we have created top level window. So suppose if this is top, so a button will be created. Now you see, so top is equal to hello. What is this second parameter? Whatever text you use as the second parameter, that will become the label or the name of the button. So it will be, okay. So hello will be displayed. Now if you want to write some handling code, now you have to write the handling code like this. So command is equal to, okay. So hello callback. So what is this hello callback? So hello callback is the name of the function. Sorry, you have to use two braces here. Okay, please make a note of it. Function call. So hello callback is the name of the function. So you have to call this function. So when you call this function, so now, so that is, for example, if user brings the cursor, mouse cursor onto this button, and if he clicks the button, okay, now what happens? In response to that event, this command, whatever code is associated with this command, that is third parameter, will be executed. Now what is the code? Now code is already defined here. So what it will do? So a new message box will appear here. Now you will see hello Python and hello world messages. Now this is the output. So until you keep your mouse button, until you hold the mouse button, so it will be displayed. When you release the mouse button, so the message box also disappears. So now what is this BPack? See, BPack already we have discussed. So it is a layout manager or it is a geometry manager which displays the controls or GUI widgets in the what we call as container. So here container is nothing but your window. So in the window, how you want to display. So until you call this, so the widget will not be displayed. So you have to specify where. So by default, pack will be display. So the controls will be displayed in the top center of the container. Top center of the container. That is the default. This pack layout manager does. So finally, you call the main loop, which displays the all the controls and waits for the user event. Now this is the output you are going to see. When this button is clicked, now you will see a new message box. And see, when you want to display text in a window or in a frame, you cannot just display it on the window. So you have to create a what we call as a canvas and display some text or figures or images. Otherwise, if I want to display some text, what you have to do, you have to call this message box. So message box is where you can display some text. So you have to call this message box and you have to tell which text it has to display by calling the predefined function show info. Yeah. Go through this code. If you have any doubts, you ask me. Okay. Now let us discuss about the next GUI widget, which is known as canvas. See, canvas also has see, for example, already a top level window has been created. So you want to display a particular image. Say for example, I want to display our college admin block building. So whenever you want to display some geometrical figures or text or some images, so you have to use canvas as the background for it. So you can draw multiple geometrical figures or you can insert or embed multiple images in the canvas. So now canvas will act like the backdrop for other for geometrical figures or images. So you can also embed some videos on the canvas. So it acts like a backdrop. So after creating the canvas, so you can specify the dimensions, what should be its width and what should be its height. You can also specify so the background color for the canvas. So all these properties you can set. Okay. So canvas is a rectangular area intended for drawing pictures or other complex layouts. So you can place graphics, text, widgets or frames. See, what is this complex? See, complex is, so you can create multiple canvases on the same window. So here I can display one image, here I can play some video. So like that, when you want to do multiple things on the same window, you can divide it into multiple canvases. So that is the advantage. So now what is the syntax? So whenever we want to create a canvas, so canvas is the name of the predefined object. So tkinter.canvas. Now as usual, so first parameter happens to be the top level window or the window to which you want this canvas to be connected. Or so what is the window or frame you want to display this canvas on. So that window or otherwise frame. So window, the difference between window and frame is so a borderless window is known as a frame. So frame will not have a border, whereas window will have a border. And frame will not have, so these three buttons also, minimize, maximize and close buttons will not be associated with frames. So just a window with a borderless window and with no controls is known as a frame. Okay. Now this is what is known as canvas. So when you want to create the canvas, the first parameter is to which window or to which frame you want to connect this canvas with, and then the remaining set of parameters are key value pairs, similar to the previous discussion. So the first one is, okay, so generally whatever controls you want to connect, you want to display on this canvas, so you can write all of them. I'll show in the example. So list of most commonly used options for this widget can be used as key value pairs. Now you see what are the various types of what we call as GUI controls that you can display on a canvas. So you can display an arc, okay, you can display image, you can display a line, you can display various types of geometrical figures. Okay, so now how to create, here it is given. Okay, so now for example, if you take line, so you know you require minimum two xy coordinates. So if I give two xy coordinates, x naught, y naught, suppose if this is x naught, y naught and this is x1, y1, so a line will be drawn connecting these two coordinates. If you give one more coordinate, so a line will be drawn like this. So like this, depending on how many coordinates you give, so accordingly the lines will. So you know mathematically how many coordinates are required. Say oval, apart from the coordinate, you also require what we call as width and height. So all this. So we will see one example. Okay. Now if you see, we are creating a canvas. So first all these three statements, they are common for all the programs. So I'm not explaining them. So tkinter canvas is the name of the predefined class. So whenever you want to create a canvas, now you have to call the predefined class canvas. So so here what happens, now if you see the output, so a top level window will be created. So minimum, maximum and close, this is top. Now next, what is the effect of this? So BG is equal to blue. What is this BG? Background, yeah. So background color of the canvas, we are setting it to blue, and then height 250 and width 300. So now if you see, we have used pack, so top, middle. So a canvas will be created like this. So height is 250. This is 250 pixels and width is 300 pixels. Okay. And then now if you see, so a canvas, after creating the canvas, so we are defining so what is this? 10, 50, 240, 210. What is this basically? Coordinates is okay. So what is, which type of data type? Int. So can we assign multiple values to an integer? List ante what is the syntax? మరి braces లేకుండా try చేయండి ఇట్లా చూద్దాం. What happens? Without braces, you try to assign a value like this. Map. Will it work first of all? Without braces. Explore what it is without braces. If you try to assign multiple values to a variable, So what happens? So which type of data type it is? So next, if you see, we are trying to draw a arc on the canvas. So for that, if you see, so C is the object of canvas type. So C dot, that is canvas dot create arc. So that is the function for creating or for displaying an arc on the given canvas. So coordinates already set for the arc. So 10, 50, 240, 210. So start is equal to 0, extent is equal to 150. So you need to pass 4 parameters for drawing an arc. Okay. So what you try to do is, after running this program, you see how the arc is drawn. Just change the coordinates, start value and extent. You try to explore for yourself. So when you change, how the shape of the arc changes. Okay. So when you change the extent, what do you mean by extent in an arc? So what do you mean by the start value? What are these coordinates? So all these things you try to change or modify the values and check what is the output that you are getting. Now fill is equal to red. So what is this fill is equal to red? So the entire interior of the arc will be filled with red color. So background happens to be blue, whereas arc will, so the interior region of the arc will be filled with red color. So that is the output of this. Then you have, for displaying, so you have to specify the layout. So we are using the default layout pack and then calling the main loop. So this is how you have to use the canvas. So first create a canvas, and so you can use all the functions. So create arc, create polygon, create circle, create rectangle. So all those geometrical shapes related functions are predefined, are available with the what we call as this canvas. So you can use them. Say, now we will see how to display an image. Okay. See, when you want to uh, display an image on a canvas, now this is the syntax that you need to use. Say, for example, if the image is available in your current directory, in the same current working directory in which you are currently working, so file is equal to, so whatever name, say for example, if the name of that GIF file is sunshine.gif, so first you have to create an object of photo image type. So then you have to assign the file name to this file object. Now you have to remember, if it is available in some other directory, you have to quantify the file name with the entire path name. Okay. So if it is available in some other directory, you have to write this full directory name starting from the root. If it is available in the same working directory, just mention the file name. So now after that, now if I want to display this on a canvas, now this is the, so canvas dot create image. Okay. So starting from which coordinate that photo image must be displayed. So 50, 50 is the starting coordinate. Say for example, if this is 50, 50, so from here, so the image in its original dimension will be displayed. Okay. So 50, 50. So anchor is equal to, so image is equal to file name. So what is this NE? So northeast. So northeast, what do you mean by northeast? See, generally, if you see how the direction will be, okay, say this is north. So where is this northeast? So northeast is starting from here. So it will be displayed. See, just try. So you just change it to, So northwest, west south, and then southeast, something like that, and just change these values. You take a small image and then you try to change these dimensions, and then you just check for yourself by changing the orientation, so how it changes. So moving on, the next GUI widget that we are going to discuss is check button. So whenever we want to create a button, so already we have seen some examples. So when you want to take a input which is mutually exclusive, say if you want to give three options to the user, and among three options, if user is supposed to select only one at any point of time, so then for accepting such type of input, you can use checkbox or radio button. So these are generally mostly used when you want to accept one single input from the given set of choices. Say you want to accept whether a particular student belongs to city or rural, has city background or rural background. So you can create two checkboxes. So if user selects city, obviously rural gets disabled. If user selects rural, obviously city gets. So only one option all the time will be available to the user. So that type of option or that type of input when you are expecting from the user, so either you can use check boxes or radio buttons. Okay. So you can see, to display a number of options to the user, user can then select one or more options. See, sometimes you can give, you can also allow the user to select say if there are 5 or 6 options. Out of these 5 or 6 options, so you can select, you can also allow user to select multiple options also. That is also possible. We will see. So how to create, what is the syntax of or the prototype of the check button? So check button is the name of the class. So it also takes similar parameters. So with which top level window you want to associate this check button with. So the top level window or top level frame you have to specify as the first parameter, followed by key value pairs. So key value pair, first key value pair happens to be the text. That text will become the name of that checkbox, and after that, so we will see, if you want to write some handling code, you can write by using command. So this is the syntax of the check button. So let us see an example program which uses a check button. Now, so here same thing. So first we are creating the top level window. Now int var to check var1. What is this int var? What is that? So we did not use this syntax till now, no? What is that? What happens to check var1? So what is the effect of this statement? Int var1. What is that int var1? Anyone has used this? You can assign variable integer. What do you mean by variable integer? See, the meaning of variable itself is, so you can assign different values through the course of a program. Say at one point of, say in C also, you say suppose at the beginning of the program, while declaration you can assign some value. At a later stage you can assign some other value. At a later, see, variable can take any values. That is the meaning of variable. So if it is a constant, then only one value can be assigned. So variable name itself suggests us that you can assign any value at any point of time in the course of a program. So it's not that, so why we have to use this? Hmm? Hmm. 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 Okay, just let us, we'll come back to this. We'll try to understand the remaining part, then we will come back. Okay. Now you see, whenever we want to create a check button, first use the, so check button. Okay. Then where we want to hmm. See, you should get a doubt here. In the previous programs, we have written tkinter.check button, but here directly we are writing check button. Why? Now, if you see here, from tkinter import star. So if you write that statement, then you need not quantify the classes that are available in a package with that package name. So if you write import tkinter, then you have to write tkinter.check button. But if you write from tkinter import all classes, then all the classes will be imported into your current program. So you need not quantify the class with package name. So you should be careful about the syntax. Okay. So check button is the name of the class. What is the first parameter, to which window you want to connect? So already we have created a top level window. So I'm using the top level window. Then, so text. So if you want, whether you want to display any label for this checkbox, yes. So what is the name I'm giving? Music. So then variable is equal to checkbox. So check var1. So I want to create, so I want to create multiple checkboxes. So you have to separate them using the backslash. So then, so next, okay. So variable is equal to check var1. Then what is this? On value is equal to 1, off value is equal to 0, height 5, width 20. So here what is this is? These are the properties that we are setting. So on value is equal to 1, off value is equal to 0. So if it is, so when it is clicked, we treat it as on, and when it is not disabled, we treat it as 0. So height, width. So what is the height and what is the width? Now similarly, we are creating another check button and we are setting some values. Now if you see, now you tell me what is the check var1, check var2? True or false? Hmm. What do you mean by true? Input function for int? Net is there. Hmm? Hmm. Okay. So it is like this. When you want to create a Boolean type of variable. So Boolean type of variable means when you want to restrict an integer variable to accept only a set of values from a given domain. So given domain, then you need to declare int var. So by default, its value will be set to 0. Okay. So by default, its value will be set to 0. So if you want to explore how to set the domain, all that, you just check. So I'm not going to all those details. Now here, the thing is, so here, check var1 variable and check var2 variable values will become 0. Now you see, variable is equal to 0, variable is equal to 0. So why we have to assign these zeros here? See, now whenever we are displaying the checkbox, you can display the checkbox in two different styles. Either you can display a checkbox in on state or off state. So say for example, by default, if you want to take while taking the input, so see for example, you are trying to accept the gender of the user. If you expect, suppose the applicants who are applying through your application, majority of them are women or female. If that is the case, now I want to always keep this as enabled and this as disabled. So that you can specify using this. If you see here, variable is equal to check var1 is 0. So this will be disabled and this also will be. So what are the names we have given? One is music and the other one is video. Both of them, they will be disabled. So if you want to display them in enabled state, then you have to set 1 to it. 1 is enabled state and 0 is disabled state. So that is the value that we need to give. So after creating two check buttons, then both of them you have to pack. So that is you using the geometry manager. Okay, you need to tell the your Python where they have to be displayed, and then using the main loop you display. Now entry. So entry is whenever we want to accept a single line of text. So in Java we call it as a text box, whereas in Python we call it as a entry. So entry is when user when you are expecting the user to give one line of text as input. Say you are trying to accept the name of the user. Okay. Say but you cannot accept what we call as address of the user using entry. So so address generally happens to be multiple lines of text which you cannot accept using entry. Only single line of text you can accept using this entry. Now after that, now if you see the options are same, top level window and then options. So options are key value pairs as usual. Now let us see a simple example. So first we are creating a label. Now if you see how this GUI interface we are creating. So first we are creating a top level window as usual. Okay. So after creating the top level window, what next? So we are creating a label. Okay. Now if you see L1 pack side is equal to left. So username. So will be displayed like this. So L1 dot pack side is equal to left. Next, if you see, we are creating an entry box. So entry, so we want to associate with top. Top is the name of the window, and BD is equal to 5. So BD is equal to 5. Breadth is equal to 5 means at a time your entry would be able to display only 5 characters. So if you want to allow it to display 20 characters, then you have to set this BD to 20. So the maximum number of characters that it can display. Okay, then you are packing it onto the right. So right means, so this is the output that you are going to see. On the left side, you are able to see the username. On the right side, you are able to see the entry. So entry is, so wherein user can type some information. So we are not writing any event handling code. We are just displaying the controls. That's it. So as we have discussed, so frame. So when you want to divide your window into multiple regions, so okay, you can use these frames. So frame widget is very important for the process of grouping and organizing other widgets in a somehow friendly way. So for example, you can create one frame here, another frame here, say maybe a calculator application here, some other application there. So when you want to group some widgets in a logical group, you can create a frame and you can connect all those widgets to this particular frame. So this frame also other set of widgets that are logically related like that. So you can create frames for logically grouping the controls. So all these controls you can have common control. That is the advantage. So when you want to create frame, so once again frame syntax is also same. Top level window to with which you want to connect this frame with, and then so key value pairs. Now a small example. So similar to your what we call as your calculator application. So so what is the output that it will be displaying? Just see and tell me. So first we are creating the higher level window. So this we are calling it as root now, not top. You see root. Next, if you want to create a frame, so frame and you have to pass this. So a frame will be created where we, so pack. So on the center, top center, a frame will be created. Okay. Now we are creating another frame. So where at the bottom. So another frame would be created at the bottom. Okay, this is frame and this is bottom frame. So this is frame and this is bottom frame. Now if you see, so we are creating a new button. So we are calling it as red button, and where we are packing it left. So in this frame we are red. So next green button. So I think this is, you write it as green. So green, so where it will be, where we are packing it left only. So green. So blue also we are creating and left. So blue also will be created. So these are the three buttons that we are displaying or that we are connecting to top level frame. Now if you see these buttons, So black and so black button, if you see, so where we are creating, so here it is bottom frame. So only one button. So black button. So when you run this application, you can see this foreground is equal to brown, foreground is equal to red, the effect of these colors. So where that color gets displayed, what do you mean by foreground here? Is it on the button color or the frame color? Hmm. So this is background and this is foreground. Hmm. Yes. So here the effect of this statement is the button will be colored with red. So background, that is canvas color, this frame color, if you want to change, this frame happens to be the background, not foreground. Okay. So here, logically, when you want to group some controls, some GUI widgets in a group as a group, so you can use frame for that. So I have created a frame. So in this frame, we have organized 3 buttons. So here also, in this, we have organized 1 button. So like that, whenever you want to logically organize your controls into multiple groups, so you can use frames for that. So frame and window basically act like container for the GUI controls or GUI widgets. So you try to run these programs. So all these programs I'll share. So you try to execute and then check the output, vary the output and then see the effect, change the foreground color, background color, and then change the layout manager default sides. So change left to right, bottom to top, and then see the effect. So labels already we have used. Hmm. Why? She also wants.